Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this April 19th regular meeting of the Zion City Council to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Carson?
Here.
Commissioner Fisher?
Here.
Commissioner Holmes? Commissioner McDowell?
Here.
Mayor McKinney?
Here. Mr. Brumner, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brumner. Administering the prayer this evening is Pastor David Leopold from Faith Homes Church.
Heavenly Father, we want to thank you again for all the mercies that have been in the city, for all the good things that have been in the city. Lord, for our heritage, we thank you and pray that you would help us to live up to that. Heavenly Father, we ask for your help. We need help. Everyone needs help, and we need yours. And we pray that you would give it to us for every aspect of the leadership of the city. Lord, help with the decisions, help with the finances, help with the protection, Lord, of our children. And bless the schools and the teachers, all those in this room, everyone that works in whatever capacity they work for this city. We ask for your protection, your help, your blessing. And Lord, we think especially today of those more underprivileged people, hurting people, struggling people in all different ways, young ones, Lord, teenagers in our schools. We just pray, Father, that you would come to them and that you would come to us and that we would be able to let you help us in all these things, Lord. And we thank you ahead of time for the grace that you will give in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Leopold. Item number 4, are there any agenda changes by any of the commissioners? If not, is there a motion to present the agenda, accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion by McDowell.
Second.
Second by Fisher. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Carson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye. Motion carries. Citizens' comments. Since we have people that are here for citizens' comments, just to review, everyone has signed in. Each person has 3 minutes in which to present to the council. And if there is an answer that needs to be dealt with in the matter that you're asking about, it probably will be dealt with after the council will direct you to the right person to do that, to talk to. Wendy Driver.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Today, I'm here because of Buzz. Have you guys heard about the Buzz? Buzz represents building up Zion. And our whole focus is bringing the community together so that the people, that we can work together so that our city can flourish. And Buzz, if you have noticed, last year we did the Monarch Mule over on Ayubi. And then we also did the corn stalks on Sheridan Road. This year we got all sorts of fun things planned and excitement. And I just wanted to, just give you guys a little flyer on Buzz, so that you can refresh your mind on what Buzz is, what we're going to, and what we've done. And then I'm going to be introducing, if you don't mind, the queen bee of the next big Buzz project here in Zion.
Okay. Could you hand those to the city clerk and she will make sure that we get those?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Barbara Price.
Good evening, Mayor. I'd like the city official and to thank you for the opportunity to come before you to present and talk about the Garden of Eden, E-A-T''N. I am inviting our city officials to come out to see the preparation of the Garden of Eden on April 30th at 9 a.m. At United Methodist Church. My vision is to create a culture of community gardeners with schools, local businesses, churches, and local officials. We are creating 20 raised vegetable and herb beds with a one-time fee of $10, and that's for the payment of the water for United Methodist Church. The community is limited to 4 of the raised beds. And I have a question for that of the city of Zion and what is Zion known for. When I think about different cities, Waukegan is known for, and I'm sure Zion does the same, but Waukegan is known for the Scoop the Loop. Zion, North Chicago is for Afrofest, and when I think about Kenosha, it's their lakefront and their festivities. Zion at one point was known for healing. And what better way to heal and bring that back to Zion than to grow gardens. Healing for our bodies and our spirits, and just to bring the communities together. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you very much.
Ron's invitation.
Sean Davis?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I was here about, a month ago or so when I was talking to you guys about the street lights at 33rd and Sheridan.
Yes.
And those lights look like the lights have been taken care of in that area. I just want to come back and say thank you. I'm not sure, you get folks to come in and talk about issues if they ever come back and say thanks, but thanks for getting it taken care of. So.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, item number 6, consent agenda.
Approval of minutes of a regular meeting held on March 16, 2020. Incorrect. April 5th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Approval but not release of closed session minutes held on April 5th, 2022 at 7:49 p.m.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Motion by McDowell.
Point of order, sir, on page 5, the hours of tolling has to be a misprint or typo. The day rate, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and the night rate, also 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on page 5.
We'll address that. Is there a motion by McDowell? Do we have a second to approve the minutes?
Second.
Second by Frierson. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye. Motion carries.
Bills, vouchers 140289 through 140395, drawn on Huntington National Bank, total $445,105.80.
Is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll move to approve the bills.
Motion by Fisher,
Second.
second by McDowell. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 7, consider passing resolutions as follows. 7A, maintenance of streets and highways by municipality under Illinois Highway Code MFT funds for the general maintenance program per Director Roberts.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Commissioner. Before you, you will see a required resolution by IDOT for utilization of motor fuel tax funds for the general maintenance programs. These operations include road salt purchase, HMA patching program, parkway tree removal, street light repair, traffic signal maintenance. The estimated cost of the general maintenance operation is $405,000 and has been budgeted for fiscal year 23 MFT account. Staff requests and recommends approving the IDOT resolution.
Is there a motion to pass the IDOT resolution?
So moved.
Motion by McDowell, second by Frierson. Questions or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 7B, authorizing the execution of a website maintenance agreement between the City of Zion and GoFlow.com per Administrator Nabel.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. You have before you our current website maintenance agreement is set to expire at the end of this month. You have the renewal for next fiscal year in front of you. This is with GoFlow. We've had them for many years, handling all of our website maintenance, online bill pay coding, any notifications, ads for information that we need to do on there. I did an analysis on that hourly rate probably 6 or 7 years ago to just make sure that we're in market on these types of services. We were actually about $20 an hour less than what the market was at that time. When you look at the activities, he has not increased his rate in 8 years when I look back at it. So we all know prices don't go down over that time. So I would recommend that we renew at the current proposed price of $1,998.33 a month for fiscal year 23.
Is there a motion to approve the website maintenance agreement?
So moved.
Motion by Fryerson,
Second.
second by Fisher. Questions, comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 7C, temporary road closure, Nostalgia Days per Chief Barton.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, McKinney, and Commissioners. I respectfully request the City Council authorize and approve a resolution for the closure of Sheridan Road for the Nostalgia Days Car Show and Cruise to be held on Saturday, June 18th, 2022. This resolution is necessary because Sheridan Road is a state highway. The specifics of the road closure are as follows. Sheridan Road from 21st Street south to 33rd Street, both north and southbound lanes, to be closed Saturday, June 18th, 2022 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Is there a motion to approve the temporary road closure for Nostalgia Day?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Fryerson,
Second.
second by McDowell. Any questions or comments?
Chief, you said 21st to 33rd?
I'm sorry, 21st to 31st.
Okay, yeah, because the memo says 31st.
Yeah, I apologize.
No problem. Just checking.
Which elementary school did you go to?
Oops.
Great to have Nostalgia Days back, by the way, now that things are starting to, it's a big event in our community, so it's nice to get going with that again. Item number 8.
Oh, we need to take a vote on that.
Oh. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item 8, consider passing ordinance as follows. Item 8A, approving the execution of an emergency operations plan for the City of Zion per Chief Street.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So the memo from last meeting will still be in effect. I don't have that in my packet, so I'm kind of going off by memory. But so every 2 years, the emergency operations plan is supposed to be reviewed and approved according to the state and county EMA, Emergency Management Agency. So that's what I worked on over the last couple of months. I believe a couple of our other departments also need an approved and signed EOP for OSHA regulations and some grant applications. So it's required that we review and approve this biannually. I know it's not the most exciting reading if you did happen to read through the whole document, but just a real quick Cliff's Notes explanation of the document is, for the most part, it's a template that is provided to us by county EMA, and the template itself isn't really supposed to be changed much other than dropping names, City of Zion, department heads, commissioner, mayor, that type of thing, into the appropriate spots. There's a few areas that we can choose who would be in charge of that area per se, depending on what the emergency is. So there's a few differences through the document relating to what the incident at hand may be. But for the most part, it's a template that is pretty easy to follow and standard, across the state. Some of it can be confusing regarding maybe the mayor being in charge of whatever the case may be, or commissioners. And that's mainly just standard because you are the highest elected officials in our area. Of course, the people overseeing the departments that you hire will be running most of the emergency. But this just stipulates that, of course, we're going to keep you up to speed on what's going on. We may have to involve you in some decisions that might need to be made at a really high level. And last but not least, of course, we hope we never really have to put this into play. But it's here so we have a framework of how to operate during kind of the biggie. This isn't put into play for your standard emergency like a house fire or traffic accident or something. This is for the biggies that just don't happen very often. And so that's why we review it and make sure it's up to date every couple of years. And of course, I'll be happy to take any questions or concerns if anybody has any after reading this interesting document.
Yeah. Is there a motion to approve the execution of the emergency operation plan for the city of Zion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Frierson.
Second.
Second by Fisher. Questions, comments? My comments would be to include photos next time.
Sure.
But it was a very thorough document, a good read, had to start it over a couple of times. And as you mentioned, we just hope that there's nothing that happens in our community in which we have to exercise these emergency plans. But it's one of those things that we have to be prepared for in the event that something does happen so that we can keep our residents safe. So.
Right on.
Thank you for the work that you've done on that. We have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item 8B, authorize an extension of license, Second Amendment agreement between the City of Zion and BC Automotive Incorporated for property at 2809 Damascus Avenue in Zion, per Director Hyanson.
Thank you, Your Honor. BC Automotive has been leasing property from the city of Zion for auto salvage storage for many years. One of the benefits of the agreement to the city is that BC Auto quotes all types of abandoned, wrecked, and junk vehicles at no cost to the city. Staff recommends renewing the license agreement for additional 5 years with no changes.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by McDowell, motion by McDowell,
Second.
second by Fisher. Questions or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item 8C, amending Chapter 10, Section 180 of the City of Zion Code of Ordinances regarding rental housing inspections, per Attorney Vaselli.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I respectfully request the passage of an ordinance titled an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Section 180 of the City of Zion Code of Ordinances regarding rental housing inspections for the City of Zion, County of Lake, State of Illinois. This change is recommended based on the attorneys defending matter for the city. I thank you in advance for this approval.
Is there a motion to approve the amending Chapter 10, Section 180 of the City of Zion Code of Ordinances regarding the rental housing program?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Fisher,
Second.
second by Frierson. Questions or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item 9, discussion, authorization, and approval. 9A, request permission to accept proposal of assurance agency for the renewal of workers' compensation, workplace violence, and cyber insurance effective May 1st, 2022 through May 1st, 2023, per Administrator Nabel.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I have to give you some additional supplemental information here real quick on the cyber insurance. But our workers' comp policy, our workplace violence policy, and our cyber insurance all are set to expire April 30th of this year. So assurance went out to market for all these policies, all these lines of coverage. We had some good news on our workers' comp policy. The premium actually went down $15,000 compared to prior year, which was unexpected coming out of the pandemic. We had a lot of, the industry had a lot of claims, a lot of exposure, but there was actually, it was offset by enough of people working from home to reduce workplace accidents, so rates actually decreased a little bit. Unfortunately, some of that was offset by the workplace violence policy. That is going up about $1,200. So net between those two, we have about $13,000 savings. The bad news comes in our cyber insurance policy. Cyber attacks, computer hacks, personal information, data mining has just gone rampant in recent year, resulting in a lot of claims from a lot of different businesses. As you can see from the information I gave you, Assurance actually went out to market to probably a good 30 to 40 different companies trying to see what's out there, what's available. A lot of insurance companies have actually withdrawn from the cyber market altogether. So you can see all the declined or that they don't write policies anymore. We did get 3 quotes back. The one that we just got this morning, which is why this supplemental, is with Beasley, which is our current carrier. But our premium with them is going from about $11,500 up to $28,671. So more than double. The Assurance has been seeing 100 to 200% increases, so double or triple from prior years. So this is actually in line with what they're seeing out there. There is a quote from CFC for about $1,400 or $2,400 less than that, and then Node also quoted at $30,000, which is higher. The part with CFC is that you can see on page 3 they have quite a list of things that would need to be implemented before they would even underwrite, and our network is not set up to have those implemented. We're working on a lot of these, but we will not have those in place in sufficient time with our exchange servers, our licensing, to address these risks. We put a lot of that replacement in our budget this year, but due to trying to get parts from our IT firm, there's backlogs on hardware, software. They just can't get anything supplied. So it's just delayed the implementation of those upgrades. So we wouldn't be able to meet the criteria of CFC anyway. The couple of items from Beasley are not going to be an issue to address that they're requesting. So while it's a big increase, some of it's being offset by the reduced in workers' comp, and I don't think that we really have an option due to the risk that's out there of not being insured for cyber insurance. So I would recommend, as presented in here, renewal of workers' comp with IPRF, renewal of workplace violence with McGowan, and renewal of the cyber insurance with Beasley.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the renewals per the city administrator's recommendation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Frierson. Questions or comments?
So the recommendation is for the $28,671?
Correct, with the $25,000 deductible.
Okay.
Did you have a chance to look into the rating for the insurance? Everyone listed here is not rated.
Yeah, I did not get a response back from our broker on what the reasoning for that are in the industry on why certain companies are rated versus not rated. IPRF has been like that for as long as I know, and I think there's only 2 other carriers that really are in the market for municipal workers' comp in Illinois. And I believe those are, when I just Googled, but those are unrated as well. So I don't know if it's an industry standard or something that changed where they're just not rated for that. As far as the other carriers, I have an email into assurance, but I have not heard a response back yet.
Okay. I'm just curious if it's like the size of who we're insuring, or if there are any other mitigations that we need to take into account to be eligible to be quoted by some of these other companies, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure
All right.
if that's on their end, our end or their end.
Thank you.
We had a motion and a second. Any additional questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item 9B, request permission for payment of the invoice for emergency sanitary manhole repairs per Director Roberts.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. Attached is a final invoice for 2 emergency sanitary manhole repairs at 1400 block of Carmel and the 2200 block of Gilead. Residents from both areas reported they were experiencing sanitary backups. Public Works personnel were dispatched and determined that both manholes had collapsed, including damage to the sanitary mains requiring replacement. Due to the size and depth of the excavation, an outside contractor was needed to make these repairs. Staff is requesting and recommending payment in the invoice from Campanella and Sons of Blackboard, Illinois, in the amount of $24,699.14.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by McDowell,
I'll second.
second by Fisher. Questions, comments?
Director Roberts, so was this mainly just equipment when you say the depth of the excavation that was needed?
Yes, both manholes were at around 15 feet. Our backhoes only go down about 10 or 12.
Got it. Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item 9C, request permission to purchase a sewage grinder, and advertise for bids per Director Roberts.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. Stonebridge Crossing subdivision, sanitary sewer flows into a sanitary lift station. In the last 3 years, we have seen steady increase in the use of wet wipes and other non-flushable items. These items are causing the pumps to clog, and fail. The water department is cleaning the lift station daily, and Lake County is providing maintenance bi-weekly. We have sent flyers to all residents of Stonebridge Crossing and contacted the HOA informing them of these problems with utilizing these products, and requested them to refrain from the usage of these products. The request has not stopped the continued problem. The use of these products have increased the cost of the maintenance, labor hours, and potential of a pump failure. A solution to this problem is the installation of an inline sewage grinder. The estimated cost of this equipment and installation is $75,000 to $100,000. Staff requests approval to proceed with advertising for bids to purchase a sewage grinder, including installation. Funding for the equipment and installation will be included in the fiscal year 23 water bill.
Is there a motion to go out for bid to purchase a sewage grinder?
I'll make the motion to go out for bid on this project.
Motion by McDowell. We have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Fisher. Questions or comments?
Just, Director Roberts, going out to bid doesn't mean we're going to purchase these items, and would you imagine there'd be another solution besides purchase of this grinder?
We have explored quite a few other options. This seems to be the one that will continue to ensure that these pumps stay online. I've talked to other communities. This is what they've had to utilize. This isn't just our area. This seems, since COVID, the sales of these wipes and these other types of products have become regularly used throughout the communities. I talked to Lake County. They've installed some very large ones. I don't really see any other option of not putting this in.
question for you. So this is a result, so the subdivision sanitary lines, this is a closed loop that goes into the pumping, the lift station?
Yes, sir. Stonebridge Crossing is our only subdivision that actually feeds into the lift station because of where they're located at out in Green Bay. So that, they go into that pump station and then that pumps it into about a mile down the road to where it goes into our gravity fed system.
Are we seeing this problem in any other parts of the city, in any other parts of the network?
We have always had clogs, so yes, just not to this extent. The problem here is it's going into a set of pumps, and when it clogs these pumps, we've already had to repair one pump at the cost of around $12,000. It's a dual pump system. When it's clogged on the when it gets clogged on the gravity fed line, that's what we use the jetter truck for.
Right.
And we have the capability of going in and cleaning those out.
Yeah. So the
That's
hit,
when we've
yeah.
chased it throughout the neighborhood or throughout the subdivision. We haven't really been able to pinpoint, a set block or what. It's the whole subdivision that's feeding it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as big an issue if it wasn't for the pumps.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
And if it wasn't for the cost to purchase the sewage grinder.
Well, the cost bringing Lake County out bi-weekly, that is at a tune of a cost of around $600 a visit, plus our own maintenance of our own personnel going out there every day. We have not had a morning that we haven't gone out, and we send the truck out, we clean it out. It's packed that, after one night, it's packed that south, that we have to vacuum it out and clean it every day.
Wow. Any additional questions or comments?
So just one clarification on the motion. So is the motion just to go out to bid, not to include it in the budget?
Right.
Okay.
That's the request, to go out to bid.
To go out to bid.
Yeah.
Okay.
And purchase, if you're going out to bid, we're going to purchase. But we wouldn't do that until next fiscal year. So since we're so
As in
close.
May? As in May, or we're talking?
Fiscal year, yes.
Okay.
May. That's why I'm requesting now, so I can go out to bid with, but we'll put on there, once the budget is approved, that's when
Those bids will come back to the council.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're not purchasing it now. We could decide not to.
Right.
We could collect those bids and decide not
We
to.
could say we're not going to purchase it
Yeah.
after the bid because
Right.
we don't want to spend that much money.
Mhm. So this is going out to bid.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 9D, consider approval of agreement between the City of Zion and PropertyRoom.com Incorporated per Chief Barton.
Thank you again, Honorable Mayor McKinney and Commissioners. I respectfully request the approval of a service contract between the City of Zion and the PropertyRoom.com, an asset disposition service company. The City of Zion, through the Police Department, obtains items of value that cannot be traced or have no known ownership. The Police Department or its agent makes attempts to locate said ownership. When unable to identify this ownership, the Police Department is permitted to destroy and or dispose of property. At times, when items are valuable, destruction and disposal is not prudent, and in such case, the city is required to auction the items in a public format. PropertyRoom.com is an awarded vendor for Sourcewell, to which the City of Zion is a member.
All right, is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Fryerson,
Second?
second by McDowell. Questions or comments?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Sourcewell, they get a percentage of the sales? How do they get compensated?
They do. So Sourcewell is what we're a member of, so that we don't have to go to bid.
Right.
But the PropertyRoom.com, they do all of the management of this process, so I don't have to pay somebody to go through and categorize it and then manage what's equivalent to what would be like an eBay type auction site. They do all of the inventory, bagging, listing, description, response, and then the distribution of it. Once we've gotten to the point where we can distribute that property, whatever it might be.
Okay.
So yes, they do get a small percentage of it.
Okay. Chief, what's our time frame to hold on to property before we let it go to auction?
It depends. Typically, if it's like completely unknown property, we have, say it was just a gold ring that was found on the road with no inscription, no anything on it, we'll hold it for 30 days. So we're waiting for somebody to come in and provide some details, say, I lost this object, give some information about it, and then let us know. This happens a lot more, not with gold ring, but with like cell phones or things like that where we can't trace it, it's dead, it's not chargeable, we can't access it, but we have no reason to hold it or keep it, but it has value. We can't get rid of it otherwise.
Okay. And
that timeline might, so a lot of times it's 30 days, but in a case where, say there's like a burglary case or something like that where we had property that's recovered from somebody in a bag, but we can't identify that property and say it's a gold ring, we would then, until the case is adjudicated, we would hold that property and any appeals would be resolved, and then from that point, 30 days.
okay. And then, do you foresee mainly using the online feature where we're housing the items and sending them the pictures, or will we be sending the items physically to them?
No, we'll retain the items until it's ready to go, and then when it's listed, then they'll come out. They come out and do all of that. We're not going to do any of that.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we had a motion and a second. Any additional questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item 9E, consider approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Zion and Lake County for the collaborative use of the Lake County ETSB, CAD, and mobile systems per Chief Barton.
Again, thank you, Honorable Mayor McKinney and Commissioners. The Lake County Sheriff's Office has entered into an agreement with Tyler Software for a Lake County consortium of records management software, RMS, computer-aided dispatch, CAD, a jail management system. Additionally, the agreement provides for a mobile citation system of Brazos. I respectfully request the City Council approve the intergovernmental agreements between the City of Zion and Lake County for the Zion Police Department's portion of this agreement for the countywide database. The cost for the CAD will be submitted to the JETSB for reimbursement. The estimated cost for the CAD is about $9,099.25. The cost for the RMS will be approximately $7,309 annually paid from the general fund. And then the cost for the Brazos will be approximately $7,154 annually paid from the general fund.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Frierson,
Second.
second by McDowell. Questions, comments?
We're handling these separately, but my question is to the Brazos. Any device or hardware requirements that we'll need to purchase for the e-citation?
Possibly. And we're looking to purchase most of that through JETSB for reimbursement.
Okay.
Just no questions or comments?
Oh, just a quick question. What is JETSB? It's an acronym. What does it stand for?
It's the joint ETSB fund that we share with Gurney, who's our PSAP. That's the dispatch center. Since the state required the groupings of communities with less than 25,000 population to join other dispatch centers, we now have a PSAP with Gurney.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's the board that manages the money.
Okay.
The JETSB fund.
All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye. Motion carries. Item 9F, consider approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Zion and Lake County for the collaborative use of the Lake County Law Enforcement Records Management System per Chief Barton.
I'll make the motion for the IGA for the RMS.
You don't want to hear him repeat it?
Yeah. Happy to, right.
I'll second.
All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Holmes? Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 9G, you want to make the motion?
I will make the motion for the IGA to approve for the Brazos system.
I'll second.
You're throwing everybody off.
Motion by Fryerson.
Second.
Second by Fisher. We've asked the question, so clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 9H, consider the recommendation of the Board of Fire and Police Commission to amend the existing rules regarding lateral entry for police officer for the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners per Chief Barton.
Again, thank you, Honorable Mayor McKinney and Commissioners. I respectfully request the City Council approve the amendment to the existing rules for the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to allow for lateral entry hiring of police officers, which has been previously approved by the Board of Police and Fire.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Motion by Fryerson, second by McDowell. Questions or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 9I, consider the recommendation of the Board of Fire and Police Commission to amend the existing rules regarding the creation of the final eligibility list for firefighter paramedics candidates for the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners per Chief Street.
Good evening again, Mayor and Commissioners. In your packet is attached a couple of rule changes that were recently approved by the Fire and Police Commission in advance of our next testing process for sworn positions. We still have one sworn position open with no current list, just FYI. Both have been vetted and approved by our city attorney and will assist us in obtaining the best possible candidate to fill our vacancy, as well as future vacancies. I recommend approval.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Fryerson,
Second?
second by McDowell. Questions or comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fryerson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner McDowell?
Aye.
Mayor McKinney?
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 10, departmental commentary. Director Ianson.
Thank you, Your Honor. The last couple of weeks with the high wind, we get a lot of calls about branches and how to dispose of them. They can go out with their regular yard waste into your 32-gallon can or your yard bags, but they can also be bundled. As long as they don't exceed 2 inches diameter, 4-foot strips, and 18-inch bundles, and lined up with fiber twine, and that can be set up for yard waste. Do not put them in the parkway, they will not get picked up, so we need to go out with yard waste.
And that information can also be found on our website, and I know we put these things out pretty regularly. And this time of the year with the weather changing, we get a lot of that. So if you have any questions about it, just look at the City of Zion website. Director Roberts.
Thank you, sir. I don't know if everybody noticed, the vacuuming program did start on Monday, even with a little bit of snow that came and graced us with its presence. To let us know Mother Nature is not done yet. They will continue through next week, and that will close this program. Each resident will get 2 pickups. So one this week and one next week on their trash day. Just a reminder, they will not vacuum up the leaves if they're full of sticks or trash. Those will stay. The other thing I have is we are opening, May 1st starts through November will be heavy construction area throughout Lake County. This county has a lot of programs going on, road programs going on. The state is doing a lot this year, and we are a possibility going to have quite a few ourselves within the city. So I just would like to have everybody be aware of these crews, all these crews that are going to be out there, and pay attention and slow down for them, please.
All right, thank you, Director Roberts. Chief Street.
Well, Mayor and Commissioners, the only thing I kind of wanted to talk about briefly tonight was I'm excited to talk about a couple partnerships and initiatives that we're finally able to start embarking on to hopefully reach some of our youth, local youth, to get them interested in city jobs with us, specifically Fire and Rescue Department, of course, but we're hoping that that would even extend further into other, city of Zion departments. One of them is a summer internship program through Zion Benton High School. We're going to identify a few school-age kids, 17 or older, to do some brief internships with us over the summer, some ride-alongs, some time in our station just learning the routine of a firefighter paramedic, both in the emergency setting and also not when we're out running calls. So we're pretty excited about that. We're again, really trying to reach our local youth on wanting to join us down the road when they get to that age where they can start testing with us and getting that experience. Another one is with the Tech Campus. Thursday, I'll be at the Tech Campus open house all day in the fire EMS section. Just another way to reach some local here, but county school-age kids as well about exploring this as a career. So really hoping and planning that these partnerships are going to bear some fruit here pretty soon with helping our recruitment and retention of local talent and employees. So I'll keep you posted, but we're really excited to be starting some of these things.
All right, thank you, Chief Street. Chief Barton.
Good evening again, Mayor. I will share some of the hiring stuff. We are accepting laterals, and we are also compiling a list for new entry police officers. You can go to applytoserve.com and see the links there to get us to the design page. So if you know anybody interested, please direct them there, the city website, or apply to serve. Also, I just wanted to mention real quick two other things. Blackboard Connect, we haven't mentioned that in a while, so I would encourage city residents to either go onto the fire department's Facebook page, the police department's Facebook page, and you can see some links there on Blackboard Connect and sign up for that. So in case there's an emergency or some information that we need to pass along, we can do that easily, and you can receive that information. And then the last thing I had was, we haven't mentioned this in a while, Crime Stoppers, as we start to see some warmer weather, more outside activity, or if you see something that you think is suspicious, you can always contact your sergeant in your district through the Facebook page. You can find who that is. Their email address is there, and you can drop them a line. They will respond. But then if it's a little bit more serious than that, you can call Crime Stoppers at 847-662-2222, and they want your information, not your name, and they will forward that information to us.
All right, thank you, Chief Barton. Administrator Nabel.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Back on March 12th, we had a State of the Community meeting at the South Commons at the high school, and that, when I say we, it was actually all the taxi bodies, the schools, the park district, the library, the city. We had over 100 people show up there. It was a great event to get some feedback from residents on ideas. We asked 4 kind of focused questions to get feedback and small group tables. We also shared some of our joint successes and collaborations. We have a follow-up meeting on June 4th. That's when our next scheduled one is, June 4th at 10 o'clock. What we'll be doing there is sharing the results of that feedback, as well as some of the initiatives that we're all undertaking to address those items. And then we'll continue to try and receive feedback from the public on things we can do to improve things collectively throughout the entire community. So I know there were faces there that I saw at the event. My homework to all of you will be to invite 1, 5, 10 people to bring along. And for those that weren't there, I hope to see you there again, June 4th, 10 o'clock at the South Commons at the high school.
Thank you. Administrator Nabel?
I just want to commend and thank the Building Up Zion group for all the work you've done around the city. You didn't mention the adjusting of some of our benches in the city, so thank you for doing that. And the garden that you mentioned, is that, I know you were proposing one in Edina Park. Is this one going to replace that?
Do you want me to?
So, yeah, it's two different projects.
Yeah. So the Garden of Eden, right, that's one is going to be behind the Methodist Church.
Yeah.
On Sheridan Road. We're adding 20 extra raised garden beds, so there'll be 26 community members can rent them out for $10 for a season. What's going to be happening over at by the train station, though, that's going to be Zion's Butterfly Garden.
Okay.
Because monarchs are, we're Monarch City, USA, and zinnias are city flowers, so we need something to represent. So the Park District has graciously given us a section, and I'll be inviting you guys to that coming up soon.
Well, thanks for buzzing about.
Thank you.
I just want to take my hat off to both of the chiefs. I can recall several years ago when I first got involved with the city and city council and coming to the police and fire board to try and understand the hiring process and, being able to open up for laterals, understanding what it would take to start to diversify both of the departments. And so you guys have done a very great job in sticking with that and trying to make it more transparent for everyone to be able to access the department. So thank you for that. And then also to Buzz, Wendy, Barbara. Barbara's also a recent graduate of Junior ZBLA through the Coalition. And just for those that don't know, I mean, you're a shining example of what the program is intended to do, which is open up for, leaders that were already in the community but just didn't have the access and the connections. And I'm happy to be able to be a part of that and try and help facilitate. And thank you for your vision with, the milkweed and zinnia garden, as well as the Garden of Eden, and looking forward to so much more that Buzz has to do. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fryer. Commissioner Fisher?
I'll be looking forward to seeing what's going on in Edina Park because I'm over there every day to take the dogs for a walk. So I'll be curious to see how that goes. Just a minor historical note. Today's not an official holiday, but 247 years ago on this date, there was the Battle of Lexington and Concord in 1775, which were the first shots and military engagements of the American Revolution. So I think we should just take a moment to remark on that. And spoiler alert, we won. So just one of those things I ran across today. So thank you, Mayor.
Great facts, and if you listen to our Director of Public Works, Ray Roberts, he'll tell you that I was there. Just a couple of items I'd like to cover before we move on. Last week, our last council meeting, I didn't have the opportunity to talk about the passing of our chairman of our Planning and Zoning Commission, Ernie Isley. A big oversight on my part, very shocked by his passing. I had just received a letter from him saying that he was going to resign that position because of illness. And then 2 days later, he passed away. A tremendous loss to our community. Mr. Isley spent some time in the Air Force. Has been in Zion on the Planning and Zoning Commission since 2004. Been instrumental of all the progress that we've made in that area. Very committed to that job. Very committed to the community. He and his wife Renee fostered over 60 children in the community. And when I look at his life's work, he embodied the spirit of people that I knew growing up, much like the Buzz Group and everyone that's in it, that's in the city to try to make this city better, to help the youth of our community to find their vision and their path and to find their way. He was a great auto mechanic as well, and I've just marveled at the stories I've heard about people that worked at the city that were sent to him that didn't have great paychecks, possibly, that young kids that were struggling that would go to him and he would show them how to fix their cars. He would take that time with people. And he's one of those men when I looked at going to his service, you just wish you had more time to get to know fabulous people like that. And one of the reasons I think that we are trying to be so transparent with our city council and everyone on our council, as our department heads and our employees, we want to get to know our citizens. We understand one thing, that we can all build this place, the city of Zion, to the kind of place we want it to be if we all operate and work together. Ernie Isley was a sterling example of that kind of man. And I know we're going to miss him. His family's heartbroken. The people that worked with him, that knew him, all heartbroken. But we can carry on his spirit and his ethos with us, with our actions, each and every day. So I'd like to have just a brief moment of silence for Mr. Isley and his family, and we keep them in our prayers and thoughts and continue to lift them up. Thank you. I also want to talk about Wendy Driver and Barbara Price with the Buzz, Building Up Zion. And if you don't know, April every year is Keep America Beautiful Month. And we're going to be working to do things within our community. We have our cleanup day of the Robert McClory Bike Path with the Park District on April 22nd. That's Earth Day. But we want to start in the spring, starting to police our community. We have high winds. There's debris that blows around in our streets after trash day. No fault of the trash collectors. That's just the way it is sometimes. And we have 24,665 citizens, according to the 2020 census. There's 120 city employees. And if we can all just model this example of going out in each of our communities and picking up trash as you're out walking, you'll be amazed at how other people will follow suit. I spoke about this. I saw Commissioner McDowell cleaning out one of the drains in front of his house. People talk about flooding. You can keep those leaves and bottles that just matriculate toward the storm drains and pick them up. I almost want David Nabel and I was talking about, let's have a just pick it up campaign. People will call the city and say, hey, there's trash blowing around my neighborhood. Can you send somebody out to pick it up? And it's a lot easier by the time you made that call. You could have gotten a plastic bag and gone out and pick it up. So as we continue to beautify our community, we've had tremendous success with our home sales here. Our rental house rate is going down, which is good for more homeowners and for our property taxes. But we can help the things that we have, we can take care of. And my mother always said this, and I've kept this in mind my entire life: when you go somewhere, make it better than when you found it. And that should be all of our missions. And I am proud to say that everyone that I work with here in City Hall and the commissioners, we're doing that. We're here for you. Administrator Nabel mentioned the March 12th meeting that we had with our citizens. We've been trying to have those meetings prior to COVID, and we had 10 to 15 people, the same 10 to 15 people show up. We need to hear your voices. When you come out on June 4th, we'll talk about the issues that we have that were addressed, that were brought to our attention, and what we're doing about them. We'll continue to be proactive in making our community better, but the only way we can do it is if everyone takes ownership in their community. If it's block by block, house by house, that's how it has to be done. The last thing that I want to talk about is Chief Street and Chief Barton talked about recruiting and making opportunities available in the police and fire department. We've also been going out as a group, the three of us, and we've been going to the elementary schools, the middle schools, and we have been talking to the kids about our respective positions, what's expected out of those positions, but what's expected out of us as people in the community. So I want to thank both of you for taking the time out of your schedules to go out and talk to our youth, because it has a tremendous impact. What they see in those classrooms when we walk in is absolutely tremendous. They're eager to learn, they're full of questions, and I've always believed in this, as we all do. The one way we can help our youth in this community is to expose them to opportunities, not only within the community, but outside the community. We are committed to that, and I thank you, each and every one of you, Commissioner, for your work on the Coalition of Healthy Communities, in which I work with you, with each and every one of us, that we're getting out in the community and we're making contact with our residents and our kids. They are our future. We have to continue to raise them and to educate them in the ways of the world outside of their home. So thank each and every one of you that provides any kind of volunteer service with in the community. Thank you so much. Item number 11 is announcements. On May 3rd at 7 p.m. we have a Zion City Council meeting, and hopefully the May weather will be better than we've had here in April. April showers bring May flowers, and hopefully warm weather too. And on May 17th at 6 p.m. there is a Zion Township Board meeting. And at 7 p.m. later that night on May 17th, there is a Zion City Council meeting. Item number 12, is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me. Yeah, pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2, open meetings for the discussion of file pending and or probable or imminent litigation, sale or purchase of real estate, collective bargaining, legal counsel, and personnel. When we come out, there are only a couple of other items that we have to deal with. You're free to stay if you'd like, or you can go home. But I want to thank everyone for coming out. Your input is significant. Mr. Davis, we appreciate the thanks, because sometimes we really work hard. We're really committed at what we're doing, and sometimes we get more complaints than we do thanks for the things that we do. So it's nice. Appreciate you taking the time to do that. So drive home safely, everyone, and we'll see you on May 3rd, if not sooner. Motion to go into closed session? Aye. Frierson?
Commissioner Fisher?
Second, Fisher.
Commissioner
Clerk?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Oh, gotcha.